Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game from Evil Genius's EGIdrA against sWs, and I need to think of another name. I'm just going to call him Wes. SWS, I don't know. Anyway, sWs is the red Protoss player in the left position, and we have got EGIdrA as the blue Protoss player in the top position. The map is Antigua Shipyard, and I am really looking forward to this game. I like all EGIdrA games, because if he loses, he rages, and if he doesn't lose, then it's usually because he played well. So this is really, really good, and it looks like sWs is going to be going out for a very, very forward pylon. Going to wall off, go for that fast expand mode, probably across this position. And I mean, Antigua isn't the greatest map to get that fast expand off, especially if you're going for a forward fast expand, just because if you get the Nexus down here and wall off across here, then obviously you've got this back area where Zerglings can go in. However, if you try and wall off across here, you have issues. Basically, you need two cannons wherever you are to be really, really safe. However, EGIdrA, he doesn't look like he's going to be going for any sort of super early pull either, so I mean, sWs should be fine, although he scouted the wrong way, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's purely because Antigua Shipyard is rotationally symmetry, so you can get a spawn here, you can also get a spawn up here, or any of the positions. It's not like maps which are vertically or horizontally symmetrical, where you just get cross positions usually on Blizzard maps. Anyway, we will see EGIdrA is dropping this drone down here, and we'll probably see a hatch. There we go, so it's going to be a 15 hatch by EGIdrA. Still no forge or anything out from sWs, so he's playing it very, very risky, getting as many probes out rather, as he can, and moving this probe out here now. Looks like he's going to be going for a Nexus first build, and that is very, very brave. And I mean, it's somewhat because he's probably expecting EGIdrA to go for this sort of pool timing where he's gone hatch first into a pool, and a lot of ZERG players don't actually go for a hatch first anymore, purely because it's quite risky. I mean, if the Protoss player goes for the forge fast expand, then to be honest, you're in a lot of problems if they do start cannoning your natural base. So sWs is not looking like he's going to be doing that. He can't. He's only just started his forge. It's only half done, getting that gateway out as well, and just completing this wall off at the front. Obviously, he knows that spawning pool isn't finished, so there is no risk of any Zergling run-bys. This Overlord will scout this though, and from the timings of everything, EGIdrA will know that this Nexus was started before the forge, and that's really, really key information, and it'll be interesting to see how EGIdrA responds to that. Meanwhile, back at EGIdRA's base, he's just droning up, transferring some drones down to his natural, and only getting out 2 Zerglings, so very, very few. Probably just to scout around, deal with this probe if it does try to knock down any kind of pylons, basically for forward warpins. Meanwhile though, sWs just taken both of his gas very, very early on. Meanwhile, EGIdrA has neither of his gas or at his natural, so going for that very, very mineral heavy build, which a lot of Zerg players do against a forge fast expand, or not a fast expand Protoss of any type, because that means that the Zerg player can get out their third base super quickly, which means that ultimately they don't have to worry about being a base on equal bases, because as a Zerg player you never want to be on those equal bases. Now sWs is going to actually come in and block this third base of EGIdrA, so EGIdRA's just going to pull back, and that is a nightmare position to be in, because you don't want to have your base blocked. It looks like EGIdRA's actually just going to go and take the gold, and that's quite a bold move, but to be honest, I quite like it, because really the only trouble with the gold is defending it from things up on this position here. But really, until a high stalker count comes out, or even Colossi, then you're pretty much safe. Now those Zerglings are going to come and run around, and this probe is probably going to come up here to plant down a pylon for the warpins to harass this gold base pretty damn quickly. Meanwhile, EGIdRA just moving this Overlord back, kind of boosting out the warp gate tech from sWs there, and EGIdRA's just droning still, just pretty much only droning, getting 2 gas straight away now, no third or fourth gas yet, but that'll probably be used, well, it'll be interesting to see how he does use it. Quite a few players who do go for that super early third base get a lair super early as well, to deal with any potential Stargate play or DTs or all that kind of shenanigans that go on there. And I mean, it looks really that sWs is just going for some gateways. 3 gateways chucked down straight away, so that's 4 gates. He could put on some pressure with that. And obviously off 2 base, a 4 gate build isn't all in. We may see some more actually though, out of the Protoss player just because it's very, very easy to hold. And this Zergling is just patrolling around, checking for that pylon which wasn't dropped down. Another Zergling up here checking for those pylons, and a lot of drones transferred down to the gold. Obviously it mines very, very efficiently and quickly from there, and Idra's getting his Roach one down. I'd expect to see an evolution chamber outcome relatively quickly, but I mean, he may actually choose not to, because this Overlord being sacrificed to see exactly what's going on. Just checking to see if there's going to be kind of Stargates or DTs coming up super quick. But because he hasn't seen it, he won't really need that evolution chamber super quickly. Has got that layer on the way, his Rotron has finished, has got Zergling speed as well coming in. A pylon has been dropped down here for sWs, and just have one Zealot and one Stalker doing some pressure. 2 sentries back here though, so nothing coming through. Cannon guarding the front. And now sWs getting his 3rd and 4th gas. The 3rd gas is down for Idra, but no sign of a 4th gas as of yet. And his injects are pretty good. Not actually synced up though. And you see a lot of people, especially non the highest of highest leagues. Oh, we've got some action going on down here. We've got a big warping coming in, and nearly missed that completely, but we will see that obviously Zealot's very, very strong. The Roaches are out on the field, and I mean, with the Roaches this shouldn't be too hard for Idra to hold, but that pylon is very, very forward, which could allow for incredibly easy warp-ins. The Stalker's numbers are getting higher. No sentries over here yet though, and I mean, the Zealot's just eating up a lot of damage, but Roach is very, very strong against Zealots. The Stalker's doing a lot of damage. That pylon does finish, so a very forward warp-in will go down, and a bit of unfortunate positioning there. That Stalker will die, and we will see that Idra's just getting a lot of units out to deal with this early pressure. But to be honest, he's coping with it quite well, but it's going to have to pull back, and if he loses this gold base, he's going to be in a lot of problems. But I mean, he's got a lot of stuff coming in. Roach speed has just started. Quite a few more Zerglings are on the way, and another wave of warp-ins are coming in. A lot of Zealots on the way, and Idra has to be really careful. If he loses this base, he has major problems going in, and it does actually go down. That was a huge win there for sWs, and he is just wisely pulling back. I think that was a great move. He didn't overcommit to this play, and because that 3rd base went down, he is in an amazing position going forward, because he's brought Idra back on equal bases, and more importantly, he's stopped that gold, which was kind of basically a base and a half. So sWs, great, didn't overcommit, pulled back, now getting his robotics facility out and a Twilight Council. His upgrades, I mean, he's got +1 done, but that's pretty much it. More pylons on the way, couple more gateways are inbound as well. Meanwhile, a evolution chamber on the way for Idra. That is his first evo chamber. He has got roach speed about 3/4 done, is getting that macro hatch up, and still this pylon is in play, but the Overlord will spot it very, very shortly, and the roaches will be able to shoot up to take it out. Idra getting some infestors out, or rather the infestation pit ready for infestors. So I mean, this is a pretty standard up build, and I mean, sWs, huge win taking down that gold base there, and really that is massive. Taking that down has really leveled this game out, and almost actually put sWs ahead. I mean, the food count is a bit deceiving, but if you take a look at the units count, I mean, they're on equal workers, and that is huge. You don't want to be on equal workers as a ZERG player. Unit resources lost, obviously more lost by Idra, and 9 workers killed by sWs, so not a huge amount, but still quite a few. And pathogen glands on the way now for Idra as well. Blink and Hallucinate are coming out for sWs, as well as +2 attack. So this is really kind of a nice solid build. Some Zerglings are going to try and run by. We'll get a scout up to see what's happening. Won't know whether this base is down yet, obviously only just building at the moment. That observer is seeing absolutely everything though, allowing sWs to react. Great little warping of a Zealot there, just forming the wall off, preventing the Zergling from getting in. Blink nearly finished up, and +1 carapace on the way now for Idra as well. He has got no other upgrades, so just that +1 carapace, and the robotics bay is coming out now for sWs, and I mean, once that comes out, it's going to be huge. Hallucinated Phoenixes are getting great scouting information. And also we'll see that these Zerglings are trying to pick off these rocks. These rocks have a horrendous amount of HP, which basically means that Idra isn't going to be able to take them down anytime soon. Some infestors are slowly trickling out. Those Phoenix are just hallucinated, so don't do any damage, but do get great scouting information. They also take a huge amount of damage, so they won't stay up very long. Idra obviously knows that they aren't real Phoenixes. He is getting his 2nd evolution chamber as well. That +2 nearly finished now for sWs, and it is getting chrono boosted out. would he start +3? That would be a big tell. But EGIdrA here, I mean, he's getting very close to maxing out, and I mean, once he does max out, that could be big problems for sWs. And EGIdrA even getting his 4th base up now as well. Obviously, he needs to stay 1 base ahead of the Protoss player. Thermal Lance is on its way, so is +3 weapons. Meanwhile, EGIdrA getting +1 melee and also +2 carapace, and EGIdrA actually looking like he could be moving forward for a bit of aggression here, but great positioning of the Observer, and all of the Protoss army can move forward to prevent this from happening. But obviously the Roaches can outrange most of the Protoss army to take down these rocks, and I mean, sWs is going to have to defend this very, very nicely. Going to have some good force fields, and actually EGIdrA baiting quite a few force fields there, and is just swinging around straight to the main. And to be honest, he could just go for that pretty much, and it'd be a nightmare for SW to defend. Obviously, the Colossus is there, a great force field goes down, does force EGIdrA back for the moment. Meanwhile, nothing really kind of in terms of harassment I have seen. There's no War Prism out or anything like that, so sWs isn't going to do too much. And there are 4 gateways which haven't been made into warp gates yet, and obviously we will want to see those go, otherwise that's a lot of wasted production, and that would be huge. Hive is on the way, so is the Spire. So EGIdrA clearly going to be going for Broodlord tech, and those force fields actually played out badly for SW. They're blocking off most of his army. A whole load of invested Terrans being blocked forward, and more in force fields go off. Those are absolutely brilliant force fields, but it is just going to prevent EGIdrA from moving too far in. But he does manage to sneak into the base, and will that Colossus go down? It does, so that is a big loss there for sWs. Obviously, losing a Colossus that early on is huge, because you want the Colossus numbers getting really quite nice and high. The Zerglings also doing massive damage to the mineral line, and if we take a look at the workers killed, it's now 6-9, and more Zerglings are in the main base, just getting so much scouting information. And more importantly, sWs still hasn't changed these gateways into warp gates, which really is just such wasted production, and these Zerglings will probably get cleaned up pretty soon. But I mean, there's just so much pressure being brought on at the front as well. I mean, sWs has got a lot of problems he's got to deal with. There's 2 massive attack paths, and EGIdra's just going for this. Great force fields though are preventing EGIdra from moving too far forward. The Colossus is being kind of boosted out, and I mean, the Protoss player needs those Colossus to be able to do anything. This 4th base for EGIdra isn't really in use as of yet. Is getting the gas down though as we speak. And if we take a look at the counting, unit count, well, not actually up to the kind of 70, 75 drones, which is preferred by Zerg players for EGIdra quite yet. He's just going to max out an army, is actually completely maxed out. His Spire is done, still not started on the Greater Spire though, even though Hive has finished, and he has got the resources for it as well. So EGIdra looking like he's gearing up to end this now, and some more great force fields go down, and massive fungal growth is going to go off on all of the Protoss army, and sWs is not in a good position here. The Colossus is doing massive damage though. Good micro of the Colossus, and EGIdra really splitting his army up fantastically. That cybernetic core is going to go down. That 3rd base is cleaned up, so let's just go and see what massive damage EGIdra's going to be able to do in the main base. Their robotic facility is going to go down, stopping Colossus production, and just more roaches running straight up. Going to pick off that Colossus, or at least try to. And if that does go down, then that is a massive loss. So only 1 Colossus out now for sWs, and those roaches doing huge damage to the probe line, and it should get cleaned up. But I mean, EGIdra is in such a dominating position here. I mean, if we take a look, 33 workers now killed. More roaches are moving up. They weren't cleaned out quite quickly enough, and it really is a case of you want the camera to be in multiple places at once in how EGIdra is playing. And I mean, if just observing this game you want the camera to be in multiple places at once, imagine how the Protoss player feels when you're getting that multi-prong attack from all positions, and a Colossus very much out of position. That could be a very nice kind of free win for EGIdra, but he's not going to go for it, not overcommitting, knows he's already ahead, just running some Zerglings in, and he's going to pick off even more probes. A nice use of hold position to just get as many hits off on those probes as possible, but not many actually die, just quite a lot of damage taken. And EGIdra taking his 5th base now compared to the 3 of that of sWs. Still though, no Greater Spire, and that is quite surprising. I thought EGIdra would have got that sooner, but instead just remaxing straight away again. 39 workers killed, so 14 ahead now for EGIdra. So that's very nice. Upgrade rise, it's +2 carapace and +1 melee attack, +2 melee attack on the way as well for EGIdra. And here we go, some creeping cleared out, and Idra's creep spread is actually very, very nice, and it looks like sWs is just trying to clear out that gold base just so he can get it if he decides to. And some roaches is moving in, going to pick off a couple of stalkers which are out of position, and those roaches up on the high ground may pick off that cannon. And I mean, every cannon you pick off, every unit you pick off at this stage, when you do have so many more bases, is fantastic for EGIdrA, because it purely means that when he does go to do more damage, he will be absolutely fine. And I mean, basically the more damage you can do when you're up on bases, the better, because you've got the economy to resupply and your opponent doesn't. And some big fungal growths are going to go off, but massive one there down on those stalkers, straight away doing huge damage, hiding the health bars. You can just see what horrendous damage EGIdrA is doing here. Although, having said that, that single Colossus is staying up for an awful long time and is going to do big damage, and actually most of EGIdRA's army is getting cleaned up completely. With the health bars, actually, I'm in two minds about whether to keep them up constantly. Some casts I do with them down. In this late game time, they get really quite distracting just because there's so much going on screen. But in the early game, they're really, really helpful, and it's really just what people prefer. And a lot of Corruptors out to take out that Colossus, but obviously those Corruptors are taking up a lot of the supply. Greater Spire is only 3/4 done, and so many Overlords being taken out now. That is absolutely huge. EGIdRA just rallying all his Overlords to the same spot means he is horrendously supply blocked, and isn't even producing 7 more Overlords all at the same time, and that is pretty huge. A lot of roaches are on the way out. A massive blink up though, and if that Greater Spire goes down, that would be absolutely huge. Wow, that was an incredible blink forward, and wow, that could have completely changed the game here for sWs. I mean, massively changed the game. And if the hive goes down as well, that'd be huge. The roaches are coming up though to trying to deal with this, and a great blink down. This gold base could be in problems though. All of those Corruptors getting sniped out as we speak, and this is an amazing play by the Protoss player here. That gold base does go down. This fourth base, well, it was a fifth now, fourth base for EGIdRA, essential. Wasn't scouted either, and wow, that was an amazing push by sWs, and really, really, really strong. So EGIdRA's actually in a bit of a tough spot now, because he's lost the base, he's lost his Greater Spire, he hasn't even started on another Spire yet. So Broodlord Tech is going to be a long way out, and really, how is he going to play this? He's got those Infestors out, he's getting 6 more on the way, and really his only saving grace is the really... Well, sWs isn't even mined out because EGIdRA killed so many probes, and I mean, what a comeback. That was absolutely amazing, and wow, yeah. So anyway, sWs is taking his own gold base now, and EGIdRA hasn't really got the Broodlords to try and punish that, and still no Spire coming out. Double upgrades are on the way, +3 and +1 missile attack, so that's pretty good. A good blink forward. Those Stalkers will go down though, and didn't manage to actually snipe anything out, so that wasn't the best move by sWs there, but I mean, his main army moving in just to follow this up, and some big fungal growths go off, some good force fields though, and this gold base isn't going to be going up anytime soon. And I love the way that the Protoss player is being aggressive here, because it means his gold base is safe, although he's got to be careful because there's a massive fungal growth going off there, and this is massive, massive damage. Those Corruptors are wasted supply because there are no more Colossus on the way. They're corrupting all of the army though to take bonus damage. Still, these fungal growths are amazing, although so much supply is held up in Infestors that really they can't kill the Stalkers on their own, and quite a few are going off, and I suspect we may be about to get some EGIdRA rage by the ... You can't be serious. To be fair, his EGIdRA was really, really a long way ahead from all of his harassment and the amount of damage he did, but he just had such a bad engagement here, where, to be honest, sWs played really well. He did so much damage. That forward blink to take out the Spire was amazing, and really has prevented EGIdRA from just winning the game. And even sWs saying luck about picking off that Great Spire. And he is coming up to check here, and will now find this 5th base, and if this goes down as well, then EGIdRA could be in massive, massive problems. But meanwhile, EGIdRA is counter-attacking down here as well, and really where to look. I mean, that 3rd base is going down, there's 4th base rather for EGIdRA is down, there's nothing he can do, but this gold base for sWs is probably going down, and it was kind of a bit of an equal trade. Although having said that, EGIdRA just moving forward, picking up some units, picking up some free sentries and stalkers, and just going for the probes rather than focusing down the cybernetics core, just going straight for the probes. And EGIdRA is going to get cleaned up here, but how much damage can you do beforehand? Trying to kill off this 3rd base, and I'm amazed he's going for third base rather than gold, but it will go down anyway. And that's Cybernetics core not being focused down, and I thought Idra would have focused that purely because it would have prevented more Stalker production, but instead Idra just going to try and pick up some units and is going to get completely surrounded and forced back. Meanwhile, another roach push coming in from Idra here, and those probes are looking in a very, very dangerous position. Will pull back though, but a couple more are taken out, and it's now 63 probes killed by Idra. I cannot actually believe that sWs is still in this game. But it's all from that lovely, lovely blink forward to pick off the Greater Spire. And a good fungal growth goes off there, and that observer will give vision of the high ground, which will be essential for this engagement. And just got to get some good fungal growth, and it just should be okay here. And sWs, because he's lost that third base, is in quite a lot of problems. A good aggressive blink, but obviously fungal growths are going off left, right, and centre. And I mean, sWs is not in a good spot now. Idra is really starting to pull ahead. He's got that base at the very right of the map, and that's going to be essential. Is long range mining from it at the moment though, because it isn't quite up, and more big fungal growths go up. Huge drop of infested Terrans down there, and there's not enough Stalkers to clear that up, and more infested Terrans are going to go down. This gold base is about to fall, and once that goes down, it's pretty much GG. Because sWs only has, well, 60 supply all but a bit. Idra at 120, and Idra does have those 1 and now 2 mining bases to the 0 mining bases of sWs. And I don't even think sWs has a robotics facility to produce Colossus. No, he doesn't. He's got no money, and really, if you're at half the supply and you have no money, you are going to lose. It's just as simple as that. But to be honest, sWs has played this amazingly, amazingly well, and there's a lot of infestors out, and a lot of Idra's supply is actually taken up by infestors. He needs to get some more really roaches and zerglings to deal with this army, because you can't fungal growth to the win. Well, you can, especially when you get that many infestors, and getting 4 more as we speak. And a drone transfer going up to here, so Idra now on 2 solid mining bases to the long range mining of sWs, and he's in a good spot here. A roach moving forward just to deal some damage. 2-1 roach, no more upgrades are on the way as of yet. A couple of probes are going to die though, and obviously that is very, very frustrating for sWs if any do go down, but they're not going to, and that roach actually getting taken out, but a huge follow-up here. And I think through all this there must have been an engagement somewhere that I missed while I was just watching down here, where all of those stalkers were taken out, or were they? No, there are still 9 stalkers. Where are they though? I don't want to look off this position, but I cannot see where those stalkers are for the life of me. And there they are. They're all back in the main base, and I mean, quite a lot of damage is going to be going down here, and I mean, this is pretty much a GG for Idra. sWs can't do anything. He can't kill this army with so few stalkers, and he's not mining. So, very much playing to the bitter end, but sWs has pretty much won. Lost, rather. Idra has pulled through. He lost his Great Spire, and I think it was a real shame that he didn't just straight away rebuild that. He needed those Broodlords to be able to finish this game, and instead it got kind of dragged out, but sWs did play it amazingly, and he has pretty much lost, and it looks like he's going to make Idra kill literally everything. If you did enjoy... they're just having a bit of talk. If you did enjoy this game, please like it, please subscribe to my YouTube, please follow me on Twitter, and leave any feedback you have, especially about the health bars. Do you prefer them up or down? Let me know. And obviously any constructive criticism is great, because I can make it better for everyone to enjoy. And I mean, sWs does still have 2 supplies somewhere, and that sniper my goal was nice. Good game, sir. So always the good manners there from sWs. I hope you did enjoy, and tune in again. Thank you very much for watching.